We'll request the stage to be set for the technical session. This is the last technical session of the day. And may I request Mr. Dinesh Singh Thakur, Professor, Department of Mechanical Engineering and Director, Planning and Policy and NEP Defense Institute of Advanced Technology, to please join us here. His topic is Microfactory from the Indian tooling perspective. Huge round of applause for Mr. Dinesh Singh Thakur. It's a technical presentation, so please, let's have a huge round of applause while Sir takes center stage. Thank you.
Very good evening to one and all. I'm odd man out standing before you because I'm not from the industry, I'm from academia. Because it's a need of the day. Industry and academia somewhere at the one platform needs to be interacted together. Before I take on to my presentation, I know in life at this age, we don't like to listen to people, our parents and a teacher. But let's thank organizer for keeping this particular talk from the academia here, just to pass on some kind of information what we are trying to look into from this perspective of a tooling industry. Before I take on to my particular topic, let me introduce my institute. It's something unique. Most of the people might not be knowing about my institute because they might be knowing some universities, IITs, NITs. We were not there in the public domain till 2010. That is the reason we were not exposed to the common people. Ours is not the UG offering university. Ours is the postgraduate, MS and PhD offering university, including the postdoc. Why am I saying so? It's a brain organization of our late Honorable President Kalam Sahab. It's located in a beautiful scenic location of Khadakwasla, Pune. And our students are all defense organization officers. But from 2010 onwards, we have opened up to civilians. That is how we are there into the public domain. With this introduction about my university, let me take you to my talk. I'm hearing right from the morning to all the esteemed speakers. Somewhere they were talking about certain things. And one common thing which I noticed is that my presentation and their talk is matching with respect to this particular statement, which says that change your perspective, you can change your life. We heard two eminent speakers, one from Tata, one from Ether, and morning we heard Dikshit Sahab. So I'm just summing up what they spoke about. If you happen to recall, the Tata expert, he said that we Indians think we are at par with anybody. It may be true, it may not be true. But unfortunately or fortunately, God has given us two mindsets. One is positive, another one is a negative. And most of the time, it's a negative mindset which tries to ride on the positive mindset. One such negative mindset which I'm sharing with you is just do nothing. And another mindset, it tells you that it is impossible. But tooling industry says that if you look it into the positive perspective and if you add up these two negative windows together, then it turns out to be a positive mindset which says just do it, nothing is impossible. And that is what we have proved right from the morning, that we are capable of doing the tooling industry what Europeans or US or the Chinese people are trying to achieve. With this particular note, a very good evening to one and all. And let me take you to some of the important aspects when it is coming to the tooling related to the defense industry and etc. This is what generally, as far as the Indian perspective or Indian point of view is concerned. And that is where we are not given certain tools by some of the abroad suppliers and etc. Now it is right time to develop our own tools to fabricate all the defense related equipments and etc. When you are getting into this particular kind of thing, let's pay a great respect towards our forefathers who introduced the first tooling system, what you are seeing in this particular cartoon. You can look into this particular cartoon from the tooling perspective, and morning somebody was rightly mentioning is that we are like a Hanumanjis. We need to stimulate our thought process, and that is when we try to achieve our goals to the fullest extent. Now, when we are talking certain things with respect to this, something is going wrong somewhere because we are failing to connect some of the dots. When it is coming to this tooling industry, one important aspect we are trying to miss, because right from the morning I'm hearing to most of the eminent speakers who are talking about the macro level tooling industry, but I fail to listen anybody who is talking about the micro level tooling industry and etc., which is need of the day. You can see that a lot of medical industries are requiring micro tools. A lot of defense sectors are requiring micro tools. You can see all those hell amount of applications onto this particular slide. Even the electronic industry and etc. They are struggling to get a micro tools to carry out their activities to the high level of accuracy and precision. Where exactly the things are going wrong? If you happen to see, I'm a diehard fan of this particular slides. 3 apples that changed the world, eaten by Eve, fallen on Newton, created by Steve. But let's understand from the tooling perspective, he is the person to whom we should give a due respect, who spoke about the precision tooling manufacturing industry, and who said that when you are looking into this particular kind of ultra precision machining nanotechnology level kind of thing, what is that we are missing? If you happen to see the middle portion of this, it says that ultra precision machining, the process by which the highest possible dimensional accuracy is achieved at a given point of time. Then when we are looking into this particular aspect, are we able to achieve that highest level of a precision that we need to think at a microscopic level? When we are looking into this one, this is what is something, a micro machining, what we are talking about, and to do this micro machining, we need to have some kind of a miniaturized tooling system. I'm very small person from academia, right? We do little bit of research at our own small 4 walls where we try to develop certain, principles and some kind of a tooling systems to carry out some kind of level of a research. If you happen to see, we are involved into the defense. I'm from DRDO, right? As and when we are required to carry out some kind of a miniaturized components which we are not getting from the abroad, and we need to put it as a retrofitting to that particular system itself only. We find a lot of difficulty in doing so when we carry out this kind of thing. For that understanding, we need to understand where exactly we need to look at from the India point of view. Till today, my statistics says, I may be wrong, right? Because I'm living in a democratic nation. I carry 51% as a majority of the rule. What is a micro factory? What we need to appreciate, which I haven't seen till today, any company in India is talking about the micro factory. I'm not talking about the micro tooling. I'm talking about the micro factory, which is the need of the day. If you happen to see this particular slide, which tells you that, right, everywhere people are talking about the miniaturization, and we are unable to understand, and we are unable to achieve the required level of accuracy and precision in case of a miniaturization, right? If you see the micro factory, a micro factory is a highly automated manufacturing setup. Right from the morning, everybody is talking about automation. So it talks about that particular aspect. Setup that allows companies to produce high mix, low volume product solutions for customers. And everybody is trying to meet the customer's requirement. Let's talk about certain important aspect also, right? With the downsized machine tools and the production equipment, micro factories can turn relatively small spaces into high-tech factories also. This is what is underlining. I was hearing right from the morning, everybody is talking about getting a land in India is difficult. Okay, you might be having the issues. Why can't we work on such kind of an aspect where it doesn't require much of the space, but you can do wonders? I'm just trying to showcase the same thing over here through this my talk. Now, if you happen to see, let's thank to this Japanese, mechanical engineering lab who developed in 1999 a desktop kind of a fabrication unit, which you can see on your right-hand side, and some kind of a tooling system what they developed for carrying out some kind of a production of the miniaturized part. Now, when you look into this one, let's try to understand what is that we are looking into from this micro factory point of view. Now, this particular micro factory do not require the large built out. So, space constraint is not there. Less energy, everybody is talking about the energy. Somebody spoke about somewhere it is available at 3 cents, somewhere it is available at 10 cents and etc. The country like India where with a minimum energy you can carry out this kind of a factories for betterment of the society. I'll show you those figures also. So less energy, fewer materials and require a smaller labor force also. These savings make popping up a micro factory an easier, often safe investment for the new companies. In fact, once the product has been finalized, a micro factory can replicate the process and increase the production by building out the more tooling stations also. Now, when you are getting into this one, why am I talking about? Everybody is talking, I heard somebody was talking about the ultra high strength material, then somebody spoke about the surface finish, somebody spoke about the complex features and etc. It becomes equally difficult when it comes to the micron size level and etc. So if you happen to see, such features on the component can be achieved only through the advanced manufacturing process in general and the micro machining process in particular. Means you need to have such kind of a tooling system, design of such kind of a tooling system which will be meeting all these kind of requirements. Now, I'm just giving you some kind of a statistics for your understanding. I'm not going to elaborate it a lot because it's a high time already. We are running short of the time and there is a cultural program. I'm also waiting for the same. Yeah, having said so, if you look into this one, just a comparative chart which I'm trying to showcase over here. If you see here, what will be able to achieve, everybody was talking about retailer, lead time and etc. But till today, if you happen to see on a small scale, somebody is trying to develop this kind of a factories and etc., it turns out to be some kind of a profit-making organization itself only. What are the components are required? If you happen to see, somebody was talking about, Industry 4.0, somebody was talking about the cloud-based manufacturing and etc., which may not be possible at a macro size factories, but which is possible at this particular juncture of a micro factory itself only, which we are trying to demonstrate in our lab through some kind of a research for the defense application itself only. And another important aspect is that you need not to travel all the way. You can connect it with some kind of a cloud-based system also. But unfortunately, we are from the academia. We fall short of the money, and that is the reason somewhere we have to do some kind of a classic Oxford dictionary, word jugaad, what we call in a sophisticated language, reverse engineering kind of a concepts and etc. Okay, having said so, and if you look into this, what benefits we get it out of it when we are setting a micro factory? Micro factories are a more flexible manufacturing solutions than the traditional factories. High mix, low volume pathway to customized products. Agile, everybody is talking about. They are also agile, able to adapt quickly to the customer needs, evolving the technological and trends. If you happen to see, why am I talking about? You will get to know, somebody was talking about the supply chain. During the COVID, in Europe and US, good number of organization, big organization, they worked on this particular concept of a micro factory and they yielded a benefit out of it. The classic example is shown over here. Now, if you can see that this particular demand and fluctuations and the potential problems can be nipped in the bud before they become a full-blown disasters. And that is what is something out of this particular kind of a micro factories can be yielded, and in turn about the micro tooling itself only. It lowers the lead time also, right? Now that's the reason I told you that, okay, this is the classic examples what we are trying to achieve today with respect to all these kind of IoT-based, IIoT-based, Internet of Things. Then you can say that your cloud-based manufacturing, cloud-based product design, tooling system design and etc. And that is where we say that, okay, now these micro factories are becoming one of the important, what you can say, economy point of view, one of the sought after phenomena from the Europe and the US point of view, and good number of big companies are venturing into this one. And we are also trying to attempt in such directions at our lab, and that is how we started working into this particular kind of a concepts. But we can propose a prototype because we are from academia. Industries have to come forward, they have to give us some kind of a support system to develop all these kind of a system. So we are at a very starting phase. I'm not saying that okay, we are halfway through, but yes, certain things we are trying to realize by carrying out this kind of activities and etc. When we develop a micro factories, we have to have the micro tooling systems also. That is the reason We need to develop some kind of a toolings for this kind of activities. You can see, if you look into this, the global metal cutting tool market, everybody knows you are the giant people, you know all these statistics. My interest is to look into from this smaller end applications point of view. Why am I advocating about this one? These are the factories, if we give it to our soldiers on our different locations, they will be able to produce small parts, and they will be able to, take care of their own equipments, weaponry systems, without giving it back to the industry for repair and etc. They are into the need of this kind of a small factories, small tooling systems and etc. Right? You may not be getting much of the money out of it because it's not a big business proposition. But yes, somebody was saying we need to help India, and that is where we have to get into this kind of a business so that we will be indirectly helping to our soldiers also. Right? All the sensory systems you can include, and that is the reason I told you that, why am I sharing this one? This is what the tool which we were looking for, one of the defense applications. We went to some of the tooling industry, you just help us to manufacture this kind of aspect ratio micro tool to set rate one very sophisticated defense equipment. Unfortunately, everybody said we don't have time, we cannot do this kind of activity and we cannot help you out. Then we forced to get into this particular business. We got into this one, we fabricated, we designed this particular tool for that manufacturing of that particular component, this micro tool, having a high aspect ratio and etc. Right? And it took us only 6 months to develop this kind of a tool, and we could able to develop that particular component out of 200 micron titanium alloy, Ti6 aluminum alloy, for that particular intended applications and etc. That's the reason I told you that somewhere we have to look into this particular aspect. This is what all those things we developed and carried out, and it turned out to be the fantastic product out of it. Right? Just I'm showing we developed after that good number of tools, we supplied, and now that particular component in that particular assembly is functioning nicely. Thank you very much for hearing me. I'm just trying to conclude my talk because I have got only some 1 minute 33 seconds, right? So what is my conclusion out of this one is that, this micro factories in general and micro tooling in particular are poised to transform the manufacturing world, offering a unique blend of efficiency, adaptability, and sustainability. And by leveraging these innovative manufacturing setups, business can reduce cost, enhance supply chains resilience, create new opportunities for growth and development. This is in general, just to meet this particular forum's requirement. But somewhere, these kind of a micro factories and the micro toolings, if we could able to develop, I'm sure indirectly will be helping our, services to set up their own factories at the war front or wherever they are located, and they can get rid of all the problems associated with their defense equipment and the weaponry system. With this note, thank you very much for hearing me. This is what is generally with respect to the micro factory we adopt in the academic sessions. We try to give some kind of a delta kind of increment innovation in our research, and that is how we try to yield out of it. With this particular note, thank you very much, and Jai Hind, and thanks for inviting me. I thank all the organizers for giving me this particular platform to reach out to such a, eminent people sitting before me. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Huge round of applause for Mr. Dinesh. I think it was really innovative to say that Jugaad is equal to reverse engineering. That was learning for me by the end of the day. And to felicitate you, may I request Mr. Raj Singh, our EC member, to join us on stage. Huge round of applause. Calls for a perfect photo op also. Center stage, please, gentlemen. Thank you so much once again. That brings us almost to the end of the technical sessions for the day and also towards the closing remarks. So may I request Mr. Sachin Netrawale, again one of our EC members, to please join us here on stage for the closing remarks. Huge round of applause for Mr. Sachin.